Hi, it's Anne. Thanks for stopping by. So, when you see an envelope, do you get suddenly a feeling of a little bit of adventure, a little bit of exploration? I think most of us do, and these little faux envelopes are so great to put in junk journals to sort of bring that feeling to you when you're recording something in your journal. Maybe you're writing about a friend far away, about connecting with somebody, about going a different place. Envelopes can just visually create that feeling for us. So, what we're going to do today is a lot of these very small faux envelopes. And they're just great to use in journals. We can use them in lots and lots of different ways. So, we're going to make a few. I think I very first saw these, I'm pretty sure it was on Gail Augustinelli's channel quite a long time ago. And I made a whole bunch of them. I used them all up in my journals. I made a few more, and I just thought it might be fun to make some today with you. And if you're not using them in your journals, I bet you're going to start because they're super useful and they just look so cute, and you just won't believe how easy they are. So anyway, I'm going to set these aside. You can use maps, you can use a little bit of scrapbook paper, use lots of book page. They just look great with almost any kind of paper. So I think I'm going to start with making a couple that are a little bit on the larger side, so it's a little bit easier for you to see. And then we'll make some smaller ones, and we'll show how they can work in a journal. This is going to be fast and easy. This is a piece of a magazine magazine page, but I just cut it into this strip, and this happens to be about 3.5 inches wide, but you will soon see that the size really doesn't matter at all. I'm going to kind of pinch where the middle is, and then I'm going to fold in on that middle because I'm going to let me see if I can bring you in a little bit here. How is that working? Yeah, that'll work. I want the middle of my strip of scrap paper here to remain in the middle. And I'm going to just fold in these two corners. So we're going to make the point there. And I just want, whoops, that's not the one to use. It's almost empty. I'm not going to be too pristine about gluing them in place. I just want to kind of anchor them down a little bit. And then I'm going to fold down the top, and I can either make the fold even with where this flap ends here, or I can come down just a little bit. I'm probably going to, because this paper is fairly thick, I'm probably going to come down just a little bit, as you can see there. And then I'm going to fold it up about like that. Give about that much space. And then I'm going to trim it off so that this part that folds up tucks neatly underneath that top flap, because I don't want any of my background to be showing up there. I hope that makes sense. That's why it's useful to come down just a little bit with that fold. So here is, and that is it. That is it. I'm going to glue it down. We're going to do a bunch more of these, so you'll get the hang of it very easily. I could glue the sides down if I want to, but I just don't think I'm going to bother with that. Won't that be cute to throw into a journal? It can collage together with lots of other things, and that's how we're going to look at some of them today, but let's do a few more first. It can also just be its own little tuck spot, particularly with it being larger like that. Here's this little scrap. Let's do another one. I can kind of eyeball where that center is. And I'm going to fold that down. And I'm gonna fold up the bottom part, and I can make it really as long as I want. I like it to come down just a little bit below the point of that envelope. And I'm gonna rip this off. And there's another one. This is a little more elongated. In fact, I think I'm gonna maybe fold it up just a little bit more. It's just a little bit too long for my liking. And I'm gonna grab my scissors because it's a little tricky to rip. And there's that one, that tiny, tiny little envelope. Just glue the edges together here, and we'll set this aside. So there's two of them. Might be a little bit hard to see where that fold comes, so let's look at something on a more solid piece of paper. There's one more with this little scrap of dyed copy paper. You can see when you fold that in, it almost naturally goes to the middle. You can do a pinch just so you can visually see it if you like, but it's not going to need a whole lot of indication for you. And we'll fold this down. I'm going to stop and ink this edge because I think it might just be a little bit easier for you to see how everything comes together. And then I'm going to fold this up, eyeballing there for how deep I want it to go. And this one, I think I'm gonna just sort of look here to indicate how high up I want my upward fold to go. And I can kind of tell there. And there we go. These are great to do lots of stamping on. You can embellish them in any way you like. But they look so cute when they're put together in groups, and we're going to do that next. How sweet is that? It really is cute. Let's come back out a little bit. And yeah, let me adjust this just a little bit. There we go. Let's look at ways that these can go together. I have a whole bunch here. You can see that I have made a few. Let's look at making one into a belly band. I cut this little belly band base. This is just a piece of book page with some tissue paper decoupaged on top. I just smeared a little gesso on, but this is the height at just under 8.5 inches that will make a good belly band for a journal. So let's assume that we're gonna use this as a belly band, but we're gonna cover it with these little things. I shouldn't call them things, they're lovely little pieces of art. Get a little surface behind. And we're just going to take a bunch of these. And I think I'm going to put my larger ones down first, and then we'll fill in with some of the smaller ones. How will that work? See, I don't have all of them glued down all the way. These are some I made earlier. And you can glue them closed on the sides. You can also leave them open because they could be, you know, a little tuck spot. You know, you could use them. Oh, is this one glued? That one's glued. Where's one that's open? Here's one that's open. You could insert a little something in there for your belly band if you wanted to. But let's go ahead and get these guys down. And I'm going to have them extending over the edges. Because this is brown beneath, I don't mind a little bit of that showing through. I think I might use the glue stick to get this one in position. There, and a little bit of it can come up over the top. I like them sort of scattered, kind of like you would have mail scattered on the table. Do you still get mail? I get very excited when I get regular mail, especially if it's something from a friend, something hand addressed. I think there's still plenty of room for regular mail in our lives. That's why I look forward to Christmas and getting Christmas cards in the mail from friends. I still get a lot of those. I send a lot of them. Maybe that's why I still get some. There we go. This is all just out of scrap paper. There's another bit of a larger one. Kind of like this red one, but that's a little bit of a strong color. Since this is a belly band and I'll be putting something behind it, I'm going to keep this a little bit more on the visual side of things. I'm going to show you in a second a different way that we can construct these so our little envelopes are turned the other way and we can put something in them. That looks cute. Some of these I just made out of scraps of an old address book, and then just did some stamping and some washi tape application. This is a good base. Now let's get some of the smaller ones out. I think I need a more calm background. I've done most of the, yeah, this is gonna show me how it's actually gonna look. And I'm not gonna want this extending so much over the edge of my base, because that's going to mean it's extending off the edge of my page. There we go. This is pretty much how it's going to look, but let's get some of these little ones in place. Just to add some visual accent. I think I like those. I think those look cute. These, because they're going over more layers, I'm going to use my slightly stronger glue. These are all just little scraps. I'm sure I pulled most of these scraps actually out of the bin. And I'll come and anchor this down just a little bit more because I'm happy where that guy is. Now let's put the whole belly band down here. This is on a page that I can later stitch into a signature for a future journal. And look how nice that looks for a belly band. This piece is a little bit too big to fit in there, but I wanted you to see how a journal card of a more reasonable size could go underneath this. It's busy. It's visually interesting, but it's pretty flat. You know, none of these little pieces are all that thick, and so it's not going to add a whole lot of bulk to a journal. I think something like this looks really cool. Let's set this aside and let's use some more of our little envelopes to make a pocket. This is just a piece of cardstock. I glued a couple of little, a few little things on the back to be gussets so that it could take some bulk. It's a piece of junk mail here. And let's just do the same as we did with the other one. Just gluing some little envelopes on top. Now I cut this to be 4.5 inches wide because most pockets in most of my journals can be 5 to 5.5 inches wide. So I've got room for a little bit of sticky outiness on the side. And let me just go ahead and get these down. These are things that are very addictive to do. You do a few and boy, you just want to say, oh, there's another scrap. There's more that I can make. I don't want to throw that scrap away. Let's put one of this blue one here. Kind of sticking with the smaller one. I haven't used that many with book pages, so let's go ahead and put this book page envelope down. And then let's get one of our really little ones, maybe to put here. About tilt it that way. The second layer ones I tend to do with my little heavier glue. There's one that's a little bit yellow. Kind of like that. And then you can always go through and add some more stamps. Add a little more embellishment on top of each of these. How about some music? That looks nice there. That one there, and then I just need a little something there. Any kind of scrap at all can work for these little faux envelopes. There we go. You know, I don't like that one quite so much there. Sorry to reject it, but there, that looks better. I could put some kind of label, I could put some kind of sentiment down here, but you can see how cute this would look on a journal page, just like this. And you could slip stuff right down in there. What an interesting little pocket that is. Okay, here's one more way of doing a faux envelope that you can actually put something in. We're going to start with our same basic construction as the others. Folding that point down. And this time I'm going to be a little more meticulous and gluing down those flaps. Then fold it over or flip it over and fold up a little bit, just fold up the depth that I want this this little envelope to be. Oh, there's this guy. I'm losing all my stuff. And rip that right about there. It's going to be kind of a shallow envelope, but the envelope itself is going to become a little bit of a pocket. I'm going to temporarily bring these two edges together. I'm going to make just a little bit of a V there, so you can see, and it's going to show up a lot more when I ink this edge. There's our little pocket, but it's going to be very clear that it's a mailing envelope. This is where it might be fun to put maybe a little bit of stamping. Shall we try some of that? I love these postmark stamps that I have always sitting around on my desk. There we go. And this one looks a little bit like a stamp. Maybe I'll put that in a different color. How about some green? A little bit on this side. And obviously decorate this any way you want, but you can see how this fits with that whole theme of the faux envelope. But all of a sudden, it becomes something that you can put a little something in. If you have, you know, maybe a few tickets. Just because I happen to have some tickets here, let's just kind of pop those in here. And this gives us another little faux envelope made just out of a scrap of paper that is really cute to tuck into a junk journal. So I hope you have fun making some of these little faux envelopes of your own. Dig into your stuff you've already thrown away. I mean, there's a little something sticking out of my scrap bin. I could fold this and make a tiny, tiny little faux envelope that would be a great little embellishment. Have fun with these guys. See you soon. Bye.